Hello, and welcome to 100 Points in 30 Days Summit, where we address individuals who need to add 100 points on their credit scores in 30 days or improve their business credit scores in 30 days. Now, I've rounded up several of the top professionals in the niche of personal and business credit education, as well as finance to help with this issue. My name is Emmanuel Michael. I'm a former radio host of a top entrepreneur show in Jackson, Mississippi, Jackson, Tennessee, as well as Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. And I'm about to introduce a gentleman who's the founder of Builder Corp Corporation, along with his executive director, Van Miles. They both have an extensive nonprofit and social justice experience. They have a strong desire, should I say, to make more significant impact on society by providing solutions to the bleak future that we are currently facing. Throughout their careers, they have encountered many startups and early stage small businesses that have failed due to the inability to assess the necessary funding. They recognize the hardships, obstacles, and lack of information that small business owners face when it relates to business credit and how it can benefit them. They have developed a program that will not only educate these small business owners as to the benefits of business credit, but also access to financings. Please help me welcome Mr. Jamal Sekou, the founder of Builder Corp. Mr. Jamal, how are you doing, sir?
Thank you so much. Good. That sounded very impressive on paper. Unfortunately, my executive director, Mr. Miles, had a prior commitment that he could not get out of, so it'll just be me in the interview today. But thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to talking to you, and hopefully we can help out your audience.
Good, man. Well, I'm excited. We're going to go ahead and get right into this. I'm excited for what you guys are doing, and I definitely appreciate you taking time to talk to us on the 100 Points in 30 Days Summit. Folks, when I first reached out to Mr. Jamal, he was actually in Rome. Him and his family, he stepped away, and, I appreciate his wife allowing him to step away and talk to me briefly so he could schedule this appointment for this interview. So, just tell me a little bit about Rome. It must be nice.
It was my and I don't know if your audience picked up on me just sliding this mop down because I'm in the home office today, but in the background. But yeah, it was my wife's 30th birthday. And that was our reward to ourselves, making it through this year of starting a business, which is, for many business owners, the first year is always the toughest. I said, let's reward ourselves. And one of the tricks we teach people is how to take advantage of personal credit cards. So we had a lot of business credit cards and had a lot of business expenses, so therefore had a lot of points. So we used the points and went to Rome essentially for free over the course of the year, just by racking up expenses we needed for Builder Corp to get to this point. So it was a good time. It was 60 degrees and warm. Come back to here in New Jersey, and not the same. But yeah, it was a good time. It was great talking to you, Jim, too. I really like what you're doing here.
Wonderful, man. Wonderful. I know we're going to get into how, you can teach some of the audience and some of the viewers how they can utilize their business credit or business credit cards in order to rack up those points and go on vacations as well.
Yeah, that's one of the perks. I mean, it's one of the definite benefits. No SBA loan can do that for you. However, using some alternative credit methods, which are particularly useful for certain industries and certain industry types. Us being a finance-based nonprofit, there's not a lot of financing available to a company like ours, so we had to use a similar program. And one of the benefits was we had enough points to, put on our American Expresses and various other cards and fly to Rome. So yeah, that's something that you can do. We love to teach folks how to do that and take advantage of the readily available opportunities that people don't realize exist right under their noses to help them grow their business.
Right. Now, Jamal, how did you get started in the credit industry? Personal credit, business funding, how did you guys get started?
Well, I got started with credit the way a lot of millennials get started with credit is finding out you have bad credit. Nothing like going through the mud to teach you how to do things the right way. So I found out I had identity theft. And in addition to all the student loan debt, I make it really challenging for me to try to buy my first home. So that's when I started understanding the value and power of credit. And from my mistakes, and a lot of folks' mistakes, we try to teach folks how to take advantage of credit and also access the business credit markets that most folks don't realize exist. That's how I got into it. We started Builder Corp within, it was a year ago today. We really launched this organization. Actually, the year anniversary is today. We started operating this May, and we've seen some very good successes in a very short period of time. And, we see this as a civil rights initiative. We're this, that my driving focus on teaching folks how to access the capital markets like this could help bridge the socioeconomic gaps present in the workforce. And that motivation, combined with just learning the hard way, the importance of credit, was how we got started with this. Love to talk more about it.
Well, let's talk about Builder Corp. What are some of the services that you guys provide?
Well, our signature program is the Business Credit Builder. What that program is a 12-month program which teaches you nuts to bolts how to start business credit separate and apart from your personal credit profile, which will help you learn how to use that business credit to grow your business. That's our signature program. It's a consultation that we offer at a very fair price. Compared to where you see it on the market, we're over 66% cheaper than our nearest competitor who offers something even close to this. We guarantee that for folks using our program, it doesn't matter if you have a 500 credit score or you don't have any credit or you have impeccable credit, that at a minimum you'll see $25,000 in available credit to you and your business, or we'll give you your money right back. We see this as like an evangelism. If folks understand how easy it is to tap into credit and capital markets on the business side, perhaps we would stop accepting women working for 70% of men in terms of pay. We will stop accepting, minorities being shut out of executive positions, because you are the executive, you are the boss. You get to go to Rome in February and teach people how to make millions of dollars. So that's our signature program. Additionally, if you're looking for funding right now, most folks don't realize that with just a 680 credit score, you could leverage that credit score into $100,000 just to start your business. Those credit cards I talked about earlier, if you're going to try to get credit cards, which a lot of startup businesses do, they'll try to leverage their personal credit to get a credit card or two. Instead of getting 15, 20 grand, we'll get you 100, because we have consultants that will work with you how to do it, how to take advantage of inquiries and how to use those, maximize your inquiries to apply for as many credit cards as possible at 0% interest that you can just take money out of and have perks like points. And if you're in a high risk industry like the marijuana industry, which is still federally illegal, which basically means it's impossible to borrow traditionally, this is a good way to slide your way into the back door.
Right, exactly. Now you said $25,000 in credit. Is that vendor credit or credit card credit?
Vendor credit, credit card credit, all available credit. We guarantee we're going to give you that. If we're thinking about raising the ante a little bit as we grow successful, because with $25,000, you can finance a car simply through the credit programs within 3 to 4 months if you're very aggressive. And the average new car is $35,000. You can get $10,000 in a Staples credit card. You can get $10,000 in an Amazon credit card. You can get $15,000 from Dell. It depends on what, $25,000 at a minimum. That if you don't get that, we'll either give you another year of service for free, or we'll just give you your money back, because obviously we did something wrong, but we don't anticipate that ever being a problem.
Right. Now, does your personal credit play a part in you getting these accounts as a personal grantor, or is this strictly separate from your personal credit?
Well, it helps always to guarantee yourself personally. If you can offer yourself as a personal guarantee, do it. But we try to find the alternatives where you don't have to offer a personal guarantee, with the understanding that a lot of folks are going to have bad credit personally and thus would be shut out of these opportunities. So we are actively and constantly identifying different credit accounts that you can apply for with just the employer identification number or tax ID number, and using your business credit history to apply for different credit accounts. It's absolutely guaranteed that, if you have an EIN, you have a corporate entity, we'll focus on getting that corporate entity $25,000 in credit.
Gotcha. Now, what are some of the main challenges you find when helping clients build their corporate credit?
Well, it's the lack of understanding of it. It requires us to really explain the concept. And if you really think about it, FICO scores that seem to dominate our lives today wasn't really a thing that existed until 1989. If you ask people what FICO even means, they'll assume oftentimes it's a government agency where it's just a Fair Isaacs company based in California. Most people don't know that Dun & Bradstreet is the largest business creditor in the world is just, operates in a nondescript office park right here in New Jersey. They don't understand anything about credit. So it requires us to really explain A to Z what credit is, what business credit is, explaining the process of incorporating, explaining the values and benefits of incorporating. It requires a lot of education, which is why we decide to approach it in a very nonprofit way, as a nonprofit, because it's all about the education in the end. And once people understand, and learn these things, we expect that they'll be able to teach their children and their children and their children. And the understanding, it'll level the playing field as to who can access capital in this country. So that is the biggest challenge, is really educating folks about what's available and how to take advantage of them.
Exactly. What about clients that may not have a physical location, they have an apartment, they want to get started, they've already incorporated in the state, they've tried to, or they are in the process of getting a business bank account, but they don't have their physical location. I know a lot of companies prefer you to have a business office as opposed to an apartment. That's what some of the stigma is out there, or some of the misconceptions that people may think. But do you guys work with individuals who may just only have an apartment and they want to get started in the business world?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started building. One of the first things we teach through our business credit builder program is legitimacy, how to appear legitimate to creditors. So most people don't realize that simply paying $50 to $80 a month, you can acquire a virtual address, which for all intents and purposes is a business address. You can, that's one of the main reasons a lot of business credit applications get denied, is because they incorporate in their incorporation documents, it lists the home address, it lists the personal cell phone, it lists if your email says, candiesrus@gmail.com instead of, info@candiesrus.com. That's one of those immediate tells that creditors can look at and immediately issue a denial because you do not appear legitimate. So that's the first thing we teach. The first chapter of this lesson is we teach you how to acquire the address that you need, so you can get past that barrier, how to acquire a 1-800 number really cheaply, how to acquire a website really cheaply if you need it, how to do all of those things. That's the very first thing we deal with in our program. Once you get past that, you get really surprised as to how easy it is to just get those very first quick vendor credit accounts. Once you know how to look legitimate, you have a DUNS number, you have your address proper, you have your website, you have your phone number, all those things are set up, you can acquire a credit right, immediately almost. So that's the first thing we focus on.
Right. Okay. Now you talked about your program. Is this something that a potential client could take online, or do they have to be in New Jersey? Do you have an online course?
It's completely online, completely virtual. You can do it anywhere in the world. We have clients as far as California. We have clients in Mississippi. We have clients in Detroit. I mean, it's all over the country. It's completely online. You can do it with your mobile phone even, because there is a mobile app version of it. And one thing with the program, you get advisors to actually call you once a week, once every 10 days, to check on you, to make sure that you're seeing the results that you want to see. And if you're having obstacles, we'll work with you to actually figure out what those obstacles are and get you to the next line of getting as much credit as possible. That's one of the benefits of this program. Not being physically limited to a specific location gives us the ability to access and help a lot of folks. So this is why I'm happy to do these type of interviews, to tell folks about the good news about how you can access the capital necessary to start your business, get your business to the next level.
Good. Now, what about business owners who've tried to build business credit on their own? Maybe they have, messed up something, so to speak. You guys actually take in clients that have been kind of dibbling, dabbling on their own and trying it out. It didn't work out, but now they want to come to your company. Do you guys take those clients as well?
Most of the people we talk to have either poor personal credit, unfortunately, and we work with credit counselors to get that together, or have had bad experiences with business credit. Some folks, they hear about it. You can research a lot of this online. It's easily verifiable. So a lot of folks will try it. And yeah, they'll have mistakes. But one of the benefits of owning a corporation is the fact that you can have as many corporations as you like. So if corporation one didn't work out, start another one. You can start a corporation online in 30, 45 minutes. Start another one, build credit in that corporation. Each corporation is its own separate individual as far as the creditors and the IRS is involved, is concerned. So if it didn't work out for you the first time, try it again. One of the best examples of someone who had that approach where if one business didn't work and you say you burnt your creditors and you want to try it again, is the president of the United States. The man had an ice company, he had a steak company, he had an airplane company, casinos, real estate companies. That's how he did it. That's how he does it. He tapped into business credit markets. And it's harder. It's easier for creditors to follow him in the sense of if he's not great at paying his debts because all of his companies had his name. But you don't have to name your company after yourself. There's no way they could tell who is who if you're paying your bills on time. That's all that really matters to creditors, if you are paying your bills on time and your financials are solid. So that's absolutely. If you have those issues, it's not an obstacle. It's not an obstacle.
Speaking of which, based on the current state we're in right now, 2019, how important is for a person to start their own business? We see we just had a major tax overhaul. And, I can speak from experience where individuals right now who are filing their taxes, their tax returns or refunds are actually lower than they were last year, as opposed to the propaganda that was put out saying that it was going to be an increase, but it's actually a decrease. However, it's based off of the tax bracket and whether or not you own a business when it boils down to it.
Yeah, well, I'll say it like this. For everyone who hears this, starting a corporation now and right now is probably the single most important thing you could do. The economic future of this country, if you combine climate change, if you combine reports coming out that 1 out of every 3 jobs in this country will be gone by 2030. 2030 is 11 years away from now. You combine that with climate change, you combine that with widening economic gaps where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poor. You combine that with student loan debt, which as it currently has a higher default rate than mortgages, than even in the subprime crisis. Right now, you're talking about people saddled with such student loan debt, they can't buy properties, they can't acquire any real wealth. You're talking about minority households specifically, basically currently having no net wealth, none, compared to their counterparts in this country. It's only equal in the world of the corporations. So yes, these tax laws just passed in 2019 that benefit solely the corporation. Well, yeah, that does suck for us individual workers, but it doesn't suck if you are a corporate owner, and anyone can be own a corporation. Anyone can own as many corporations as possible. So while credit is free flowing, while the market is still sort of in an upswing before the next recession comes, while interest rates are still relatively speaking historically low, tap into these capital markets right now and help yourself build the wealth, because the American dream as we knew it is dead, but long live the American dream. Because anyone can, because of the internet, anyone can tap into the corporate markets, and anyone can start a corporation online very cheaply with us or with someone else. It's the most important thing for the long-term sustainability of this country. It is the most important thing that anyone can do, because I couldn't even imagine what this country would be like with a 33% unemployment rate.
Right.
Yeah. So started today.
And, that goes back to, your income is directly related to your personal growth. What type of knowledge you arm with, not the economy, not the economics of the economy. The economy is going to do what it's going to do. There's going to be a new president. He or she is going to come in and they're going to make changes. That has nothing to do with what you're going to do for you and your household, you and your family. You need to get yourself in position, have your business set up. That's why we're doing the 100 points in 30 days, because we want people to actually realize that, hey, it is possible to get 100 points on my credit score in 30 days. It is possible to build a solid business credit profile in 30 days and start making some headway for the next 60 days, 90 days, a year. Look where you are. But guess what? If you don't ever start, you're going to be in the same spot. You're going to be right in the same spot. Now, let me ask you one more question. Are you familiar with the updated changes that FICO is doing to its algorithm, the Ultra FICO?
Yeah, so FICO is actually making several changes over the last couple of years to make it easier for the average person to achieve a higher credit score. Last year, there was a change that if you have a delinquency on your account, say you have a collections account from, let's say, a cable company, you could pay that amount in full and it would disappear off of your credit profile. It used to be that delinquencies, even if you paid them, would stay on your report for 7 years. That's a big change. I'm sure if you've been on social media in the last year, you hear a lot of folks talking about, oh my God, my credit score has jumped up 60, 70, 100 points. Well, a lot of that is because of those rule changes. Over the next couple of years, FICO and separately Experian are considering some changes where they're factoring in your bank account balance. If you're running a high bank account balance, it affects your credit score. I think they're calling it FICO Plus. That's a potential to boost your score. Also, if you have regularly recurring payments, such as a utility bill or a cable bill, if you're paying those on time, they're using that as a factor as to how to raise your score. Now, does that matter to creditors yet? No, not entirely. You're not seeing a lot of underwriting requirements factor in these updated scoring changes, but it's a step in the right direction. A lot of folks are managing these recurring counts, such as your cell phone bill and your cable bills, et cetera, over and over and over again, and not getting credit for them. This would help change that and hopefully build, some long-term changes as to how debtors underwrite certain, credit lines. If maybe in 5 years to get an American Express, that will factor in these other things such as your credit score, your personal checking balance and your ability to pay other creditors. So yeah, there are some interesting changes coming. I think it'll benefit a lot of folks, especially if you're looking for some home ownership and, perhaps auto loans. But yeah, that's.
Yeah. Well, I think the threshold is like $400 to $500 you got to have consistently in your checking account.
Yeah, it's those are numbers I heard. Something, the higher, the amount of money you have, or I think that's the numbers I heard. I have to check my sources. I don't want to misspeak on it, but yeah, it's something that's coming. It's something that's coming in. We talked with our advisors on our end earlier this year about these new changes, whether it will make it easier for a lot of our clients to secure money. But it takes a little bit longer for the creditors to really factor that in. Now, for some vendor accounts, they may make a difference, but on the business credit side, cash flow is often factored into other, borrowing opportunities, such as merchant cash advances, which we frankly don't recommend, and other types of financing that are available. Cash flow has always been a factor, so they're kind of taking some of the some of the attributes on the business side and applying it to the personal side.
Okay, so let's say somebody's watching this interview and they say, you know what, I want to take Mr. Sekou up on his offer. I want to get started with the program, but I just want to work from home. I want to do an online business. I don't want an office. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay at home and sell stuff on Amazon or whatever I want to do, Is that possible to get vendor credit and business credit cards with a business model like that?
It would be a little more difficult to get credit cards, but it would be absolutely possible for vendor credit. And we're trying to appeal to a lot of folks that do exactly that, kind of in the gig economy. So we're seeing millennials, up to 34% of them have done some sort of gig work. And if you think of the Uber drivers, if you think of the, people working on Upwork or Fiverr, those are folks that could take advantage of business credit, the same exact way as a corporation. All they would have to do is incorporate and take their contractor earnings or 1099 earnings and put them into their business's name. Even if you're doing something like selling, something on Amazon or Etsy, you can still do the exact same thing. Anyone can take advantage of this. And, the reporting requirements for a lot of the vendor creditors, for them to report to you, the threshold needed to be spent for them to report to your business credit report is often sometimes $75 to $50. So you could just get printer paper, buy a bunch of trash cans from Quill, buy some of your household expenses, through these vendors, and you can still build, business credit. It's there's a lot of benefit to it, and we understand that as this grows, we expect that this will be a refuge for a lot of folks looking for a second credit profile. If your personal credit is beyond repair, if you're, and you still want to acquire that TV, or you still need to acquire a car, or you're looking to buy some property, you can starting a corporation and do everything you need to do.
You mentioned buying property.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of individuals, definitely here in the Atlanta area, a lot of people love to take advantage of real estate. It's a real big thing with being able to be approved, though, to get the funding in order to, rehab and make certain deals. You guys have a program for real people in the real estate industry?
Yeah, so you could use the FHA to get started in the property game. It's easier than you think. I mean, you need a 570 credit score for some of the rehab programs, 620 for just a traditional. So there's a lot of ways we could try to help folks in the commercial game, but it's one of those more individualized cases where they would need to talk to one of our advisors who can look at their particular situation and recommend the best course of action. There's no one shoe fits all.
Gotcha. Now, you guys, one more question, a few more questions before we get out of here. You guys, your company is focusing on the ladies.
Correct.
You're focusing on the ladies. You really focus. You're doing some good things with helping a lot of young ladies get started in business, build their credit, their business credit. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, between 2017 and 2018, there was a 167% increase in African American women-owned business firms in the United States.
Wow.
Okay, so that has been a trend that has been increasing over the last decade. I want to appeal to the ladies because the ladies are leading this corporate revolution. It's a fact. They are the business owners of the future, and I want to focus. I mean, if you think that's not the case, then just look around in any city you've ever been to. Who's running these businesses? It's African American women, and more so than other demographic groups, they are the ones being shut out of the capital market. So targeting folks that are starting the businesses and have traditionally not benefited from a system that has been designed to keep them almost especially out of being in the corporate boardroom. Yeah, it's a no-brainer for us. That's why we view ourselves as a civil rights organization, and this is a group of folks, my mom included, my sister included, your mom and your sister included, that have been shut out for far too long. And, this coincides well with what you're seeing across America, this insane being paid 70 cents on the dollar for what your colleague does, this insane Me Too movement where, there's so many stories, which we've all known about, where women are, facing this type of nonsense in the workplace. This is a great way to respond to that, is to lead what define what corporate America is, by leading this essentially revolution of what a corporation is. And women are leading the charge. It's absolutely the direction America's going. And we're embracing that early on.
But the guys can take advantage of building.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. It's just, we're targeting. Look, everyone can take advantage of this. There's no racial or there's no gender biases. Anyone who's a citizen of this country can take advantage of this program. And who doesn't want to be rich? Tell me someone on the left, or tell me someone on the right. Tell me someone who's white, tell me someone who's black, man or woman, who doesn't want to be rich. Who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to be their own boss?
I remember I was working in the restaurant industry years ago, and I had a manager he was a very smart guy, but he always said some borderline things. And I remember one day I said, you know what? You're a racist. You're just a racist. He said, you know what? I'll tell you something. At the end of the night, when I close down this restaurant and I count the drawdown, all the money is green. I don't care. I don't know who hand it came from. It don't even matter. And that always stuck with me. He said, this is what runs the country, is the money. That was his thought process. And I was like, wow, here I am, narrow-minded, thinking one way, but his whole thing he was trying to get me to understand was you need to do A, B, C, and D in order to get this paper over here. Get this green paper over here, you know. So as I close out, an individual who wants to get started opening up their business, what are the A, B, C, and D that they need to do to get started? New company, startup. Can you take me through what they need to do in order to build a good, solid credit score in 30 days?
Well, if you're talking business credit, first thing you need to do, incorporate. It's that simple. You'd be surprised how complicated that often is. Incorporate your business, not a sole proprietorship. Get an LLC, S Corp, or C Corp. Incorporate your business. Get a tax ID number. Number 2, both of those things can be done online in less than an hour. The first 2 and most crucial steps. Number 3, get a DUNS number, which you can do for free. We'll help you do it if you in our program, but separate and apart from our program, you can get a DUNS number for free from Dun & Bradstreet. That's very important, very important. And the 4th thing, open a bank account, because you're not a real corporation in the eyes of a creditor until you have a business bank account. It's the minute you open a business bank account, watch, ladies and gentlemen, watch. You'll get something in the mail from American Express. Okay, you'll get something in the mail from Chase, because you just appeared on their radar and they want to know more about you.
That's right.
Because now you're a real corporation. Those are the first 4 things you can do. And a motivated person could potentially, with the exception of the DUNS number, get all of this done within a day. A DUNS number may take up to a few months, depending. If you pay Dun & Bradstreet $1,500, they'll happily give you a DUNS number right away. But you can get it for free, just waiting around. So within 30 days, you can incorporate, get an EIN, open a bank account, and get a DUNS number, and be ready to access the capital that's out there in the corporate credit world.
Wow, that's amazing. Mr. Sekou, I definitely appreciate your time. Go ahead and give the audience your social media handles, corporate websites, any way to get in contact with you so they can take advantage of your program.
Not a problem. It's at Build a Corp, and it's spelled just the way it sounds. Build a Corp, BUILDACORP. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're new to social media, so please follow us. Our website is buildacorp.org. And if you want to reach me, you can shoot me an email at jamal@buildacorp.org or info@buildacorp.org. I keep mispronouncing my own company. buildacorp.org. And yeah, we'll be happy to work with you. We'll be happy to work with you, or just give us a ring, 1-800-653-1249. That's again, 1-800-653-1249.
1-800-653-1249.
Correct.
1249. Folks, go to buildacorp.org, follow them on social media, send them an email at jamal@buildacorp.org, and get the help that you need so you can begin to have the success that you and your family deserve. This is America, folks. Take advantage of it. Opportunity is here, the land of the free and the brave. Everybody wants to come here. People are trying to kick folks out of this country, and people are still trying to fight to get in. Here we are right here with everything in our lap. Take advantage of it. That's why we put this summit and this event together. With that said, we appreciate your time, sir. We look forward to hearing more from Mr. Jamal Sekou. And with that said, folks, this interview is officially over. Goodbye.
Thank you for having me.